Order got wind of an artifact here in Takodana, and they're sure to do everything they can to get it. Protect the package and do not let it reach the extraction point.
Alright everybody, Baron here, and welcome back to Star Wars Battlefront 2. So this is the beta, which I myself and a bunch of other YouTubers and streamers played at DICE headquarters in Stockholm, Sweden. We were invited out, we were flown out, lodging was paid for and provided for. So that being said, thank you EA for basically indirectly sponsoring this video, right? So basically what we're going to be seeing today is the new game mode Strike. We're on Takodana Temple. This is the Resistance versus the First Order. Now, the purpose and kind of goal, well, yeah, not the purpose, the goal of this map and this mode is that currently the First Order is attempting to steal an artifact that is currently inside of the temple. You can see that little blue shield kind of on the UI. That's a little behind me right there. That is the artifact that the First Order is trying to retrieve, and I myself, being a Resistance operator, mowing down the enemy from on top of this temple fortress, which is pretty cool, by the way, is trying to protect that artifact. Now, this is an 8 versus 8 mode. It's not as big or expansive as Galactic Assault, and similarly, it doesn't have the vehicles, right? There aren't any vehicles, but there are power-ups. You can buy special characters. You're gonna get to see myself use the Rocket Trooper as well as the Wookiee later in the video, and they're both pretty fun. That being said, this is beta, and this was almost pre-beta in a certain aspect. We were basically testing for the beta that you guys will hopefully be playing in the next couple of days. So everything is still a work in progress, right? Now, this isn't the only game mode we played. We got to play all 4. I did play some of the single PvE type stuff in arcade. We did play Galactic Assault on Theed. We did do Starfighter Assault on the Star Destroyer shipyards, which you've seen. And by the way, I've played Theed before, and I've played the Star Destroyer shipyards, as I like to call them, previously. So this was the new map, the new game mode that I got to play. And, oh, that poor guy ran into the wrong time. Oh, but my gun's overheated, and then I can't focus. I ADD out, and I missed my targets. But anyway, guys, so, yeah, keep in mind, it is a work in progress. Beta comes out for pre-orders October 4th, the 6th for everybody else. This is Strike on the map Takodana. So, now that the objective has been taken, the spawn point here isn't inside of the temple fortress. Now, it's like we have to defend the extraction point while the First Order has the objective. So I go and try to, like, I'm expecting the bum rush, because we did play this game mode a few times, and those that were on the enemy team, because the teams are never balanced at these events, and I never really understand why, but you know, whatever, is I was like, man, they've won a game. It is possible to win Strike in like 2 or 3 minutes. It was done a few times, actually, which was kind of embarrassing for the team that it happened to, namely my team, right? But we wised up after a while. It all really depends on teamwork and how well that happens. So right there, the carrier of the artifact is taken down, and now we can go and recover that. Or, you know, you can do what I do right there and finally take them out. So there is the artifact on the ground. Oh, and there's a First Order officer shooting me right in the old gonads with an SE-44, apparently. So, yes. How was the beta? I gotta say, I like to really emphasize this point, that Star Wars Battlefront, the first one, by DICE, what, 2015? I was so incredibly hyped for it. I'm an avid Star Wars fan, so you always have to keep that in mind when you kind of like gauge my interest, my excitement, and you know, my overall approval or disapproval of a game. Is, you know, it's almost like being in a relationship. You're kind of emotionally compromised, because I really, really love Star Wars, and I've always wanted to be a part of that, you know, universe. And as a result, you get that experience. The visuals, the sounds, like everything was pretty amazing in the first Star Wars Battlefront, but the gameplay in and of itself grew stale for me after a while. There's a lot of remains. And, you know, as a result, I didn't play it very long. And, you know, I didn't even go back to it much. That being said, and when there was all these DLCs, I think I came back one time, and everybody had all these crazy weapons. And I just got dominated. And I was like, well, this isn't, you know, maybe I'm not going to stick around too much. But the cool thing that DICE is doing, because you got to keep in mind, DICE is owned by EA, Electronic Arts, who are you know, notorious for DLCs and things like that. They're a highly successful company, and it's because they're really good at monetizing their games and making games that are interesting and putting out games relatively frequently, right? But it seems like, I was like, oh, you know, people are like, where's the whole, like, landing, going from space and landing on, you know, a planet? And I was like, oh, they're probably saving that for Star Wars Battlefront 3. But then they kind of changed the script. And they were saying that this one is going to be, like, all the maps are going to come out and be available for everybody. And then, you know, there's no DLCs in it. It's like, what do they call it? Basically, season pass kind of thing. So that's kind of interesting. I'm not entirely sure. Like, that's a totally different take. And that's what people in the community have been asking for both Battlefield and Battlefront. And I'm actually very curious to see if this is successful if we don't see it in the next Battlefield. Kind of curious to see what that is. Also, what is the next Battlefield? A lot of people are like, is it going to be the next 2142, or is it going to be World War II? I know that the Call of Duty beta is going on right now, and people are going, meh. But it's going to be interesting to see, but I digress. So anyway, an overall great experience in Sweden. I'm excited that the gameplay is better. The gameplay is richer. I'm having a lot more fun, and it's not becoming stale as quickly as it was in, I'll be frank and honest, as in Star Wars Battlefront 1. I'm actively hoping that I'm going to be able to lose myself and just play hours and hours and hours and just really enjoy it. That, by the way, is the new Resistance Flame Trooper power-up. And he's pretty good at close-range fighting, but also this was beta, and he seems not very effective at medium to range distance, and you're like, oh, but Baron, like, he's a flame trooper. Yeah, but it still felt a little off, and that's the whole work in progress stuff. And we're gonna be a part of that testing in the upcoming beta, so I hope you guys are excited as I am. But yeah, I would say that everything has been improved in Star Wars Battlefront 2 compared to 1. But I mean, realistically, it kind of needs to, and that's expected, right? But it is still great to see that it has been improved upon. And my biggest issue with Star Wars Battlefront 2 continues to be Starfighter Assault, where there's no real evading an enemy. If there's a skilled enemy on your 6 o'clock, you know, behind you, going after you, you can't really evade them. You've got to use terrain, you've got to use that kind of stuff, like, but even then it's not, you can't outmaneuver them per se, because you have aileron control in the game, but it's kind of superficial. You can do easy rolls and stuff, but there's no rudder, and, you know, even more importantly, there's no real elevator control. And that limits your defensive flying abilities. And it's really kind of sad. So this is the Rocket Trooper power-up for the Resistance. And it's pretty cool. It's not like Boba Fett where you can just kind of hold right-click and then just kind of like do it at your leisure. You have these little power-ups, and you can see them kind of, you know, basically winding back up. There's the time down. And your blaster is does a little more damage. You're a little more mobile. I mean, it's pretty fun, and it's cool to see these guys zip around. And this is 8v8. Like, it seems like there's a lot of people running around, but it actually is sort of a more intimate game mode. More intense, more teamwork focused, which is fun. I myself probably gravitate towards more Galactic Assault, but I will go back to that point on Starfighter Assault and ask that, excuse me, that I really think that they need to fix Starfighter Assault. But anyway, guys, I've got a lot more gameplay. I said in one of my recent videos that I did have something very exciting and special and unique coming to you guys. But, you know, basically I have to wait from approval from, you know, LucasArts before I can release that video, and it hasn't happened. Look at that, the Flame Trooper close up, that thing is pretty sweet. Here I'm trying to use that, but as far as I start taking damage, I'm like, this is my power-up guy. I want to keep him around a while. I'm going to dip out. I'm definitely a defensive player for sure, but as I kind of start to play more first-person shooter games, or third-person shooter games, as you do see the rocket over my shoulder there, and I'm a female resistance fighter with a jetpack, young independent woman, taking out Dice Player Test 29. What do you think about that? Look at that guy, he's like blind in the background. How did I miss those shots, right? And then there's grenades, so I dip out. And see, I'm working on it, guys. I'm definitely working on it. But yes, I've got footage on the arcade. I've got footage on Galactic Assault, Starfighter Assault, and a few more strike maps and gameplays. So let me know what you'd like to see, and then you can enjoy the rest of this. This is a pretty intense and down-to-the-wire strikes game mode. So let me know what you'd like to see next. Ask any questions, and I can address them in the next video. But this is more or less like, hey, check out the new map, Takodana, the new game mode, Strike. Watch me miss the occasional rockets. I'm probably like 50% effective jumping over grenades. And so this is the assault shuttle that the Resistance has to take the relic to. Basically, artifact. Would it be a relic? It's not necessarily a holocron. But anyway, so... yep, Takodana, Resistance versus First Order. Let me know what you'd like to see next, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
Ready to go.
Sticking with you.
The package is on the move. Intercept it.
First Order, drop the package!
Countdown!
Let's go.
Package retrieved. Keep it safe.
Grenade ready!
A carrier picked up the package.
Get behind me!
We're holding them off, but don't get too comfortable.
By your side. We're not done yet.
Grenade out!
The package has been dropped!
The First Order has the package! I'm with you.
We've stopped the carrier!
Laying down covering fire! Heads down!
that carrier. Package has been dropped.
Throwing!
Let's go.
They're turning tail. We got them. The artifact is safe.